Hi there, this is Dr. Everybody. We're going to take a look at Project 8. Notice that we actually have 2 weeks to do this one. In fact, I think you might find it to be easier than the previous ones. So what we have here is we're working on a contacts file, such as maybe the contacts that you'd have in your phone. And we have a number of things that you might do with your phone, such as get all the contacts, like maybe they're backed up. You just reset your phone, you got to put all your contacts back in. So you'd read them, you might back up all your contacts, add a new contact, remove a contact, update an existing contact's phone number, do the same thing with an email, display them using a prefix. So that might mean that display all the contacts that start with SAR, or for any length of prefix that we give. And if you enter a carriage return, or that is an empty string, then you'll display all of them. And then, of course, to exit from it. So you're going to prompt and then enter one of these characters, and you ought to be able to enter them either as uppercase or lowercase. You know how to do that by now. And let's see, what else do we have here? So what I'm going to do is, and here's a sample of what the file might look like, or what the data in the file might look like. So everybody's got a name. They can be all sorts of different formats. The file will have semicolons separating things. There may be spaces. The phone numbers have to have hyphens in the correct places. So you don't have an option for that. 3 digits, hyphen, 3 digits, hyphen, 4 digits. And then the email will have some kind of a string, an @ sign, and then another string. We won't do any further checking than that, but we will have checked that it has an @ sign in it. So we're going to read that from a file. It's separated by semicolons, so you'll have to handle that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 things here today. First thing I'm going to do is just set up the menu and all the options that we might take out of the menu. And then I'm going to do one thing, which is the one to replace a phone number. Okay, and notice that that we have to make sure the phone number is formatted correctly, which is the same thing when I do when I did the contacts. That also said the phone number had to be formatted. So since I'm using this twice, I am going to create a function. I'll call it validate phone. And since this is a collection of digits and hyphens, I'm going to take that as have that as a string, and my validate phone will give me a Boolean. It's going to either return a true or it's going to return a false. And it will return true or it will return false, one or the other. So we'll always return something. So if it's a valid phone number, it will return true. Valid meaning that it's only digits with hyphens in the correct. That will return true. Any other combination will return false. So we're going to that will make my life easier. I'm not going to show you that function, but I'm going to use it. And then I'm going to do this option E. And what you'll and then I'll show you how this gets set up. Each one of these menu options should call a function. And let's see what that might look like. So what I've done here is I have I've actually typed this in already. And I started out and I declared a constant menu, which was a long string using the triple quotes there, which I just copied and pasted to create that. And so I print my menu, I ask for a choice, I initialize my dictionary. Of course, that's a lousy name, so you'll want to be using a better name. And then I have a loop, and as long as somebody didn't do enter an X, that's the exit, right? That's that one. So if somebody gives me an X, I'm done. And again, we have this pattern for a while loop where we get a value, we check that value, and then at the bottom of my loop I do the same thing, print the menu, and then ask for a choice. And in between, I'm going to I meant to start out by not having that line in there, but I already have that in there. So the first thing I did is set up the menu. If the choice is A, then I'm going to call a function to read a file. Initially, I'll just say print selected A, so I make sure that my selection is being done correctly. And there's the call to my file. I'm not going to show it to you, but that'll give us some data to work with. And for the others, I just fill in. If the choice is B, for right now, I'm going to say print selected B, and so on down for each of the choices that I have. And so in every case, just like I did here, I need to add in a function. In this case, I'm taking D in as an argument, and I'm returning D. You actually don't have to do it that way. You can, because D is a mutable object, you could just pass in the D and let the function change it and not have it return a D. I find this way is a little easier to read, but that's a personal selection. So what I'm going to do, well, first of all, let's check and make sure this is working fine, and then I'm going to do the one to update the phone. And so we're going to create a function that's going to go right there. So let's take a look at what we have at this point. So there's actually more to this program that I'm not showing you. So for example, this read contacts is up there above. I'm just not showing it to you. So this prints out the menu. That was print menu, and then we give it a choice, and I'm going to choose. Notice I can use uppercase or lowercase here. At this point, I don't have any error checking, and I'll want to have error checking, but I'm going to put that later. Don't put the error checking in earlier. I called my file contacts.txt, and after that is done, then I don't have any other selections. I print the menu again, and then I ask for another choice. Right now I'm going to exit. Let's take a look at my my dictionary that I created here. And notice, so there's the colon. So here's my key, and then there's the colon, and then there's the value. And in this case, the value is a list. And it's got 2 items in it. So item 0 is the phone number, item 1 is the email. Key being this string, quote, Miller, comma, Matthew, quote, or just a Susan or a Dennis Jones. Each one has a phone number as item 0 and an email address as item 1. So with that kind of setup, I can now say something like, what is D of Susan? And that tells me that the value of Susan is this list with a phone number and an email. I can say D is Susan of 0, okay, because I have a list. Now I'm accessing index 0 of that list or index 1 of that list. And so I can get the whole list, or I can get the phone number out of it, or I can get the email out of it. And so of course I can say something like phone equals D, and I can do this with any of these people. Let's go string Dennis Jones. It's got to be spelled right, and that's 0 there. So what is the phone? It is the number that we see up as the first element of Dennis Jones. And I can do the same for an email. All right, so with that setup, let's write a function. So we're updating the phone here. So I'll get rid of this, and I'll replace it with a call D equals update phone, and I'm going to pass. So I'm going to pass the D in. It will be updated, and then return, and I'll have a new value for that. So let's stick that here. I called it update phone, and I'm still using my D. It's a lousy name. You need to do something better. And so what's the first thing I'm going to do? Well, if I'm the first thing I need to do is get the name. So let's ask for a name. Now we want to update the phone for that particular one. Now the dictionary will be D name, but well, what if he's not in the dictionary? Well, we better check that. So if name in the dictionary, then what will we do? Well, we know it's in there, so let's ask for a phone number. All right, so now I have a phone number. What if the phone number isn't any good? Well, if, and I created I described earlier, validate phone, and I send it in my phone as a string. So now if that's good, if that's true, that returns true. If that's true, now I want to say, oh, in my dictionary with my name, that's valid because I have if name in D. Because of that, whoops, because of that line, I know I have a valid name, and the phone goes into index 0 of the list, so we give it a new phone number. We know that phone number is valid because we checked it. Okay. So suppose the phone number wasn't valid. We'll print an error message, bad phone. You can do better than that, but that will do for right now. What if the name was wrong? Well, in that case, we want to say bad name. And in all cases, I want to return the dictionary value there. So notice how, so I come in here, I pass in my whole dictionary, I prompt for a name, I check to make sure the name is in my dictionary. If it's not, we come down here, we say print a bad name, and return the same old dictionary unchanged. If the name is in the dictionary. If that's true, now prompt for a phone number. Why ask for a phone number unless the name's already in there? Check that that phone number is valid. If it is, then go into my dictionary for that particular entry, the name that we prompted for. Phone numbers are in item 0 of the list. Remember, there's, each key, each value has phone number in element 0, and now I assign it the phone number. So that's good. I've updated my phone number, but if the phone number was invalid, I print a bad phone, and then I come down and I return things unchanged. But if I had a good phone, I changed the D, we come down through here and I will return the updated phone number. So let's give that a try. Let's see, did we put that in there? We did. Okay, we should be good to go. Let's save it. Let's run it. I'm going to read in all my the information that I have there, and so now the choice, let's update, that's E. So if I say something bad like Fred, I don't have a Fred in there, it tells me bad name and gives me the prompt again. So let's try again. Let's give it a name. You know, Susan is in there. Now we want to give it a phone number. Let's have a bogus phone number, and it gives me an error message, bad phone, and we're back to the menu again. So let's see, that's E, Susan. Let's give it a correct phone number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9876. Everything's in the right place, and hopefully it has been updated. And in fact, we can see just the way I have this is that there it is, key of Susan, and we see there's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9876. So it looks like the update took. If I want, I can exit the program now, take a look at my dictionary, and look at that. We can see that Susan's phone number now is the one that we entered. Okay. Notice a couple of things here. When I started out, all I did was, if I selected A, I printed A. Selected B, I printed B. Made sure that my whole, and if I selected an X, it exited. Get my main loop going, and then one at a time, write each function. Write a function, test it out. I've already got that one in there all tested. And I came down and I did the update. And again, I can update that, create that function, test it all by itself, and move on. Also notice that I can test functions in here. So for example, how about that validate phone function? I should be able to send it a correct number as a string, and it tells me true. If I did something like, I don't know, had something as not a digit in there, it should tell me it's false. If I have it so that we have a number, but maybe one of the hyphens is wrong, I'll put an X in there. Again, it should tell me if it's false. So there you go. There's a little bit to get you started with